Welcome to JLive. I'm Laura Mandel, JArts Executive Director, and it's great to be with you for JLive, our virtual series of events where we bring you bite-sized conversations about Jewish life and art with some of the best artists with Boston connections. Today, we're really lucky to be with composer Derek David, who not only teaches composition at MIT, but he also directs the Workers' Circle chorus A Besere Velt. Welcome. And extra special tonight, we are also actually with accordionist Corey Pescatoro, who has played with Derek for many years, and they are good friends. So towards the end of the program, we're going to have a great piece by both of them. Of course, if you have questions during this, please put them in the Q&A at the bottom of your screen, and we'll ask as many of them as time allows. So Derek, start us with a song.
Thank you. I just want to say one thing. Thank you for the introduction. I actually teach theory at MIT. And not composition, but I teach composition. All right, thank you. Mein Herz, weint in mir, darf sich scheiden mit dir. Meine Gedanken nachher mit dir zu scheiden ist mir schwer. Oi, meine Gedanken nachher mit dir zu scheiden ist mir schwer. Wo warst du, mein süßer Leben? Wo warst du von mir weg? Wo verliere ich dich, darf nicht suchen, sag mir, auf welchen Weg, oi, meine Gedanken nachher, mir zu scheiden ist mir schwer. Von ersten Dörferle, von ersten Städtele, das erste Briefele schreit zu mir, beten, dich meins Leben nicht vergessen sollst in mir. Oi, meine Gedanken nachher mit dir zu scheiden ist mir schwer. Wo du kommst zu Wasser, oh, zu ein anderer Jüngel sollst in mir gedenken, oi, meine Gedanken, nein, mein Herz weint in mir, darf sich scheiden ist mit dir. Meine Gedanken nachher mit dir zu scheiden ist mir schwer. Meine Gedanken nahe, mit dir zu scheiden ist mir schwer.
I just have to say, it is very difficult to infuse that amount of emotion into Zoom. So thank you. That was really
Well, I
beautiful.
do this alone in my
Really.
room all the time, so I'm used to it. It's fine.
Well done. It was absolutely beautiful. So, okay, I know there's a lot of emotion in this for you. Tell us about this song and why you chose to sing this for us right now.
Well, just a little thing about, but before we talk about my connection with Yiddish, just specifically about this song, I heard it like a year and a half ago. And it was recommended because I was discovering what's called the the Ruth Rubin archives, which are this incredible, which I fantasize to be somewhat of a comprehensive collection of uh, folk recordings, of field recordings of actual Yiddish folk music. When most, I think, people think of Yiddish folk songs, they think of Oykh or Rozinkis mit Mandlin, and these are actually all theater songs. These are all like hits from the Yiddish theater. And so hearing this is very different. Like hearing the folk songs from the archive is a very different experience. And when I heard this song, I the waterworks, the everything, sung by a survivor of the Holocaust, an older man. Yeah, Israel Freed was the man who was recorded. Ruth Rubin Ruth Rubin recorded Israel Freed. Tremendous recording, and that's been my favorite folk song that I've ever heard everywhere. It's out of anywhere. It's just a tremendous song, and I love it very deeply, and it does evoke a lot of personal emotions.
I
Um,
mean, you can feel it as you're singing, really. So tell me, I know that Yiddish is deeply in your roots and your soul, right? So tell
Very
us
much
how
so.
how did you come to Yiddish?
So I am from an Ashkenazic family, big surprise, and uh, the matriarchs of my family, especially my maternal grandmother, who of a Cholem had died a year ago in January, at the age of 94. Um, Yiddish was her first language, as was for all of my grandparents, and where the tradition that I think most Jews are familiar with is that the older generation spoke Yiddish amongst themselves, and it was the private language that kept the kids out. But I had one grandmother who, her and I spoke it together, and I always said that we had geredet gebrochen English, that we spoke like a broken Yinglish, like. Uh, but she wrote me, even in college, she wrote me Yiddish letters in the oasis in the handwriting, and um, my connection with her is to this day in Yiddish, and the last words I said to her were in Yiddish, and and it, it at a very young age instilled something very deep and meaningful inside me, and I didn't even start chasing sort of the Yiddish language because I was never fluent, and so I never started sort of like actually chasing that within me until I was finishing my doctorate,
Hmm,
and started studying it very seriously in 2017, um, and it's become a very central part of my life, musically and personally. Yeah.
it's beautiful. So I know that this Yiddish piece played a big role in leading you to be the music director of A Besere Velt, the Workers' Circle chorus. Tell us about this and how you came to that.
This is an amazing group. It's so incredible that I have the distinct honor of being with them. So, A Besere Velt is the chorus of the Boston Workers Circle, formerly Workmen's Circle, and they are a group that specializes in Yiddish repertoire with a message of social justice. So sometimes pieces are done in English with an emphasis on social justice or other languages, but the vast predominant material that is sung is Yiddish, uh, probably like 70-80% or so. And so I was a student of Henkes Netsky's, who needs no introduction, is just a tremendous figure in the world of music. Period. I was a student of his, and he recommended that the position was opening, and he sort of nudged my rib cage, and he said, "Oh, you should apply. You should totally apply for this. I could see this being right up your alley." And thank God he did, because I applied, and I was very honored to get the position. And this is my third year with them, and we're just going on in COVID, and it is certainly, I think, a testament to the chorus's great resilience and passion in the work that we do together. And I'm very, very proud to be a part of them and to champion Yiddish. And I'm really looking forward to contributing arrangements and compositions through them for the Yiddish world, the continuation of Yiddish music in some way, Yiddish choral music. Um,
It's
so
great.
yeah,
And I love the role Hank Isnetsky plays in this. He's also a JArts board member, and so he has never steered me wrong. But I know he's this critical figure in the world of klezmer. But I think it's because of his expertise, but also because people like you, we need the next generation. So the
yeah.
work you're doing is so important.
Thank you very much. I like
Yeah.
to think so as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, okay, so you mentioned COVID a little bit, and I'm curious, you mentioned something about it's been tough, I know, for musicians especially working and making music in COVID. I mean, obviously we know it's not possible to be singing in a room full of people at this moment. So, tell me a little bit about what the last few months have looked like for you.
Personally, yeah. So they've been spent pretty much right where we are right now. So I teach completely from online. I have private students, and I teach in the music department at MIT, which is an amazing job that I love very, very much. And hosting chorus rehearsals pretty much right here, and leading a very musical life kind of by myself, except for tonight we have Corey. Um, and the big boon, I should say, is that I have, and I'm very lucky to have several commissions for new works. I'm a composer of contemporary classical music, and I am working on a string quartet, which is commissioned from the Verona Quartet, as well as a song cycle, which is commissioned by Yivo, um, for a song cycle of Yiddish folk songs, a setting of Yiddish folk songs.
Nice.
And then there are other projects in the near future after that, that I'm already starting to sort of wrap my head around. So lots of time to express and conquer those thoughts uh, in solitude, which itself is something. But lots of listening to music, lots of listening.
Okay, so speaking of listening to music, I love that you had a few recommendations for people. What should we all be listening to right now?
Oh, well, there are a lot of amazing artists doing a lot of amazing things, and my tastes are completely, they're trapped in history, and so so don't limit your listening just to this. But I have a passion for the composer Guillaume Dufay, who is a 15th century late medieval composer, who I've been spending a lot of time with, and contemplating his work. I've kind of, after sort of a lifetime of not paying attention, I kind of discovered Scarlatti, and I'm really finding Scarlatti and his keyboard sonatas pretty amazing. And I just discovered Journey in Sachadanda by Alice Coltrane. Um, uh, just an incredible work. So I totally recommend checking out her album. I think it was 1973 or 72. It's a great jazz album, experimental jazz. It's very, very interesting. And Bach, always Bach. I'm going through a deep dive through all the cantatas again, and discovering some pretty amazing things. So,
Nice. We might have to take some of those recommendations and put them into a blog for people to read after this.
that would be great.
No.
That would actually,
Yeah, that would be great. I would love that. We'll have to plan. So, um, we are almost at time, and I want to make sure we have time to play us out with a beautiful song and a really fun song with Corey. So, before you play that song, I would love for you to bring Corey over.
get on over here.
As I mentioned, we have an
The
extra
master.
special treat. Corey Pesatoro is an accordionist who, as he says, basically learned Jewish music because if you can play the accordion and you're good, you can play just about anything, right?
Something like that.
He said far worse.
Like, if you can play jazz, you can usually play anything. But
There you go.
you have to
So
like
Corey,
the key of D to play klezmer. It's all about the key.
It's
of
all
D.
D. It's
Lots
all
of
D.
keys.
Some E minor.
Some
Some
F,
some F,
some F,
some F.
a lot of D.
Lot of D. Yeah.
so I'm just excited to see you guys perform together now. But before we go into that, Corey, I'm just curious. What is it like to be playing klezmer music as an Italian guy?
You know, nobody, everybody thinks I know everything. So if I go to a wedding or a mitzvah, whatever, I just fit right in. I got the red accordion. You know, I know the music very well, and I mean, even at Klez Canada, which I'm sure you were at Klez Canada, I went there, I don't know, a couple of years ago. By Hank Osnetsky said you should go up there, and there was a period where I was helping Michael Winograd teach students klezmer music, and it's like, they're all Jewish. He's, you know, the master of klezmer music, and I'm up with Michael teaching. Like, what this guy? I just love the music, so I know so much about it. And even though, of course, I'm much more known in the world as a jazz musician and as doing Italian stuff and all kinds of other music, but I know more klezmer music probably than any genre in the world.
That's very cool.
He has a great mind. He knows. He has a beautiful brain.
Some say.
Some say.
All right. So before I have you play us out, I just want to say, if you are enjoying this program tonight out there, please remember that JLive does not exist without generous donations from community support like yours. So please consider making a donation. And we had one question that I want to go to just before we move on, which is, let's see, Derek. In addition to the things that you mentioned that you're working on right now, are there projects that you've done in the past that that have inspired some of your current work, or that feel significantly Jewish significantly to you?
Yeah. Yes. I'm surprised I didn't talk about this earlier. Um, I would say that Yiddishkeit or Jewishness, or however you want to describe it in a aesthetic or a musical sense, is sort of like, it's kind of inseparable, I think, from the music that I write, but I can't necessarily point to it and pinpoint it. And there are definitely times when I purposefully evoke specific musical styles and genres that are klezmer inspired. But they're very much so a conscious, but I'd like to think extraordinarily meaningful thing that I do in music when I write. And so that's very important, and that of course goes into a great deal of complicated things about identity and Jewish identity, and how real is it if it can't be pinpointed. It's complicated, but I try to wrestle all those pieces or those ideas in the works that I write. And specifically, I'm writing a clarinet quintet that's specifically about sort of Jewish identity in my music. I just, in terms of projects though, I do want to say that on a separate topic that A Besere Velt, the Yiddish chorus of the Workers' Circle, the Boston Workers' Circle, is that we have been working extraordinarily hard, very, very hard, on creating an upcoming concert, which we're going to premiere in the later spring months, a date to be determined. But
Great.
Please stay tuned, and Laura, I believe that you will.
I'll make sure it's promoted on the JArts social media, and if you were here tonight, I will make sure that you get a link to it. So as soon as we have the information, we'll send it out.
Thank you so much. We're planning some great things, and we're going to have some incredible guest artists and bigwigs in the vocal arts of the Yiddish world.
Oh, it sounds great. We're ready to promote and join in.
Woohoo!
All right. So with that said, this has been so much fun. I think there's so many more things we could talk about, but the truth is, I think many of us just want to listen. So will you play us out?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I think we can. Are you ready?
Are
you ready?
I
don't know. I was ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Are you ready?
Am I ready?
You're ready.
Let's find out. Du willst, das will ich euch. Du bist mein Herz, mein Meuerheu. Du bist das Weißel von dem Oykh bei mir. Ich hab nur ständig ein Gedank. Ich hab nur ein Verlangen. Du Sterne gib ich dir. Es ist nicht noch kein Mädel, was auch hab in dein Heim. Was sei da kosher Weiber, dein Name ist gewesen. Oh, was du willst, das will ich euch. Ich berechne sich jetzt mein Meier aus, was ist so viel, das sollst du wählen euch. Ich will dir singen, schein euer mein, liebt sein mein Freund. Du bist heilig, heilig ein Druck, na wie mein Koin. Will heilig sein bei mir, ich will, glänz sie dir, Ali, hat von Gott, der Schüster. Was du willst, das will ich euch. Ich brennt mein Herz, mein Freude, du bist das Weißer von dem Oykh bei mir. Du bist mein Herz, mein Leben, hab nur ständig ein Gedanke. Ich hab noch ein Verlangen, nur Sterne von Himmel gib ich dir. Es ist nicht noch keine Mädel, aber so hab in dein Heim. Es wird seine kosher Weiber, wie meine Vater ist gewesen. Es ist nicht doch kein Mädel, bis hoch in dein Heim. Es wird seiner kosher Weiber, wie dein Mama ist gewesen. Oh, was du willst, das will ich euch. Ich berät sich jetzt mein Meuch, als was ich will, du sollst lernen.
All right, you get the applause of one, but many more behind the scenes. That was fabulous.
I think I need to drink after that.
Okay, wait. I said you were playing us out, but I do have to admit I failed to ask you to describe the song before you sing. Give us a 2-second overview of the song.
This is actually from a Yiddish musical from 1926 called Penny from Pinkus from Penny. What's it called? Penny from Pinkev. Penny from Pinkchiv, and it's by Sholem Sekunda, the song and the play. And it's a little thing. I heard it on a klezmer album. The play itself, I don't believe, is of any note in the Yiddish literary canon or tradition or anything like that. So it's just a little musical that premiered in New York in 1926. So
awesome. Thank you for bringing that to us.
Song. It's for Valentine's Day. It's a kind of an "Will you marry me? I'll be your clumsy husband."
That is so sweet. That is so sweet. God, well, thank you both so much. This has been so much fun. Corey, I don't think I told you this. It was my lifelong dream to learn how to play the accordion. So maybe that's for another day.
You have a great teacher.
Right? But thank you both so much.
The bellows, this guy. He's a bellows.
All right, so next time we do a comedy shtick.
What do you say?
I said next time we do a comedy shtick.
We are a comedy shtick. That's what we're always.
That's exactly it. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you both so much. This has been a joy. I have promised everyone a short segment, so our time is up, but we will do this again.
This is fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. It's a true honor. And I'm Miss Falcon. Thank you so much.